Hey y'all, I haven't made a video in a few weeks. I've just been kind of being a hermit since the beginning of the year and was really focusing on healing myself and just relaxing. And I started this abundance program, which has been amazing. And a lot of really, really wonderful things are happening for me right now, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. Right now, what I wanted to share was a bit about energy vampires. Um, I feel like energy vampire is something that gets thrown around a lot in the spiritual community. And I feel like some people aren't really aware about what they are or how they work. So I just wanted to touch on those things really quick. So there's two different kinds of energy vampires. The first is the energy vampire that likes to take energy from people intentionally and maliciously. And then I feel like that's usually what people are referring to when they talk about energy vampires a lot of the time. You know, your haters, people that don't want to see you succeed, people that just want to take from you. But there's also another kind of energy vampire that people don't really talk about too much. And it's the energy vampires that, I mean, all of us have the ability to be an energy vampire. I feel like most people have been energy vampires in their lifetimes. Um, and how this particular one works is usually a person who has experienced a lot of trauma, who is going through something really intense in their life, and their energy is just really low. So when this person who has a really low energy in that moment comes around a person that has a higher energy, it's not that they're purposefully trying to feed off of them, it just kind of happens. It's like their energy just senses something higher than theirs in the area or in their like around them, and they want to balance it, wants to its energy, their energy wants to balance itself out. So it starts to take energy from the person that has a higher energy, so that can lead the person who has a higher energy to feel a little depleted around them and feel exhausted by them. And it can be a really difficult thing. But it just kind of happens like pretty frequently, especially if you're a healer or just anybody that has a high vibration or high energy. Like people that come around you are going to want to, like, their energy is going to want to take from yours just so it can balance itself out and feel a little bit more stabilized, a little bit more replenished. You're just like kind of a tasty snack. But yeah, it's like really interesting because in pranic healing we learned, like I was sharing, like I've been sharing about the 11 different chakras, and the spleen chakra is the chakra that draws in energy, and it, like, a lot of excess energy, and it distributes it to the other chakras, and just like kind of feeds them a little bit. Energy vampires will always latch on to your spleen chakra. So a really good tip is whenever you are around a person who may be draining you a little bit, try not to be upset with them unless it's like a person who is maliciously doing it. Then to like set boundaries and like, or cut them off if you need to. And I mean, even with a person who isn't doing it in a malicious way, obviously set boundaries as well too. But work on being a little bit more compassionate with them because they're not really doing it on purpose. Their energy is just doing it because they're hungry. They need to eat. It's just in such a low place, and then it sees you and it just wants to take a little bit from you so it can feel better. So try not to be upset. Just try to hold compassion for that person and for what they're going through. And something that you can do after spending time with a person who may be like feeding off of you a little bit, is kind of, or envision in your mind that your dominant hand, so mine is the right, is like a blade, right? Like a sword. And set the intention that you want to cut any cords that person has attached to you. And then you cut by your spleen chakra. So it's going to be on the left side of the body, like, around where your spleen is. And you just sort of like set the intention and then just cut like that. and it helps remove whatever cords they attach to you from you. So when you're not around them, they won't consistently feed off of you. Because that's the thing about cords, is that people just attach to us. And if we're not actively cutting those cords, sometimes they'll just stay there for a while, and then you'll just all of a sudden start feeling really drained out of nowhere. Your energy just gets really low. It's because you're not really like doing the cord cutting that you need to be doing to free yourself from any cords that are feeding from you. There's also positive cords, and those can stay. So, an intention to set when you're cutting the spleen chakra cord is to cut any cords that are draining you or any negative cords. And that'll help clear that out. And yeah, just like work on setting boundaries with the person that does that. If it's a client, boundaries are important. Also follow your intuition, and if you feel like you can't work with that person or can't be around that person, then that's totally okay. Just, do it from a place of compassion and love and care. Because that person isn't really doing it to hurt you or to take from you on purpose. Like their energy is just trying to balance itself out. So this happens sometimes. But yeah, I just wanted to share that a little bit. So yeah, thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.